A moment of pure bravery can change everything. What if, in the face of danger, a child showed the world the true meaning of courage? This story will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about heroism and race. From a distance, a gentle radiance bathed the city in warm sunlight. A moment of pure bravery can change everything. What if, in the face of danger, a child showed the world the true meaning of courage? This story will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about heroism and race. On an ordinary afternoon, the streets buzzed with a quiet energy as pedestrians strolled along and shopkeepers exchanged friendly greetings. The scene was one of calm routine, setting the stage for events that would soon defy expectations. In a quiet neighborhood near a busy market, a young boy captured the attention of those around him. At about 10 years old, his dark eyes shone with curiosity and resolve. He wore simple clothes that did not distract from the determination evident in his gaze. Every movement he made spoke of an innate kindness and readiness to help anyone in need. His presence was unassuming, yet powerful, as if he carried a secret destined to change the day. Nearby, a young girl with fair hair dashed through the crowd, her laughter bright and unburdened. Unaware of the impending chaos, she sprinted along the busy street, her carefree spirit untouched by the shadows gathering at the edges of the scene. Her presence was fleeting, yet memorable, a stark contrast to the deep resolve of the boy who lingered, absorbing every detail with a quiet intensity. Their paths crossed momentarily, linking two lives on the brink of a monumental shift. Without warning, a sudden disturbance shattered the normal rhythm of the day. Smoke began to pour from the windows of a nearby building, billowing into the clear sky with alarming speed. The rising cloud of gray caused a ripple of panic to surge through the gathered crowd. People cried out in terror as their surroundings transformed from a familiar, safe environment into a scene of chaos and confusion. The air grew thick with fear as the sudden calamity unfolded. At that moment, a crowd formed at a safe distance, frozen in indecision. Onlookers hesitated, their eyes fixed on the smoky chaos, each person gripped by an uncertainty that held them back from action. They stood as silent witnesses to the unfolding disaster, their hearts beating in unison with the rising dread that permeated the air. The uncertainty of what lay ahead rendered them motionless, their voices swallowed by the cacophony of fear and disbelief. Among the anxious crowd, one figure moved with resolute determination. The young boy, whose quiet strength had been evident from the start, stepped forward while others recoiled in uncertainty. He did not hesitate. Instead, he advanced toward the source of the smoke with unwavering focus. His small frame belied the courage that surged within him, a courage that promised to challenge the inertia of fear. Every step he took was a defiant act, a testament to the idea that heroism can emerge from the most unexpected places. His decision ignited a spark within the onlookers, an unspoken challenge to the paralysis that had gripped the crowd. Although many remained uncertain and frightened, his boldness hinted at a possibility of change. The tension in the air grew palpable as the boy moved steadily closer to the building, his actions raising questions about duty and the power of youthful bravery. With each determined step, the promise of a new chapter in this unfolding crisis became increasingly evident. The city itself seemed to hold its breath, watching as a solitary act of courage began to rewrite the expectations of the day. With the unfolding crisis, destiny now wove together the lives of all who witnessed this moment. As the smoke thickened and the chaos deepened, An unspoken promise lingered in the air. The boy, with his unwavering resolve, appeared not as a solitary figure, but as the herald of a shift that could alter the fabric of the community. His actions bridged the gap between fear and hope, inviting everyone to consider that true heroism often emerges in the most unexpected circumstances. A question echoed in the minds of the onlookers. Would this solitary act of valor be the catalyst for a transformation that had long been awaited? The journey continues. In the quiet aftermath of the day when bravery emerged, the hidden stories of two young souls came to light. In a small apartment nestled in the heart of the city, the courageous boy grew up under the tender care of his devoted mother. His mother, a beacon of unwavering strength, instilled in him the fundamental belief that helping others is not merely an obligation, but a sacred duty. From a young age, he observed her acts of kindness, which resonated deeply within him, forming the cornerstone of his character. The walls of their modest home echoed with lessons of compassion and the importance of lending a hand, irrespective of differences. In the vibrant yet challenging tapestry of his neighborhood, the boy experienced both the warmth of community and the sting of injustice. He witnessed firsthand the bitter taste of racism and the cruelty that arises from prejudice. Neighbors, though bound by shared struggles, sometimes harbored unspoken biases that threatened to divide them. Yet, these hardships only fueled his determination. Every act of unfair treatment he observed reinforced his resolve to stand up for what is right, even when the odds were insurmountable. The trials he endured molded him into a figure of resilience, his spirit unyielding in the face of adversity. Amid the bustling streets and crowded markets, his natural heroism blossomed. He would help elderly residents carry their groceries, offering gentle words of encouragement and support. Whenever he saw an injustice, whether a harsh word or an unwarranted slight, he did not hesitate to intervene. His actions were not grand gestures, but rather quiet acts of defiance against a world that often overlooked the vulnerable. In every interaction, he exuded a rare blend of empathy and fortitude that set him apart from his peers. His deeds spoke louder than any proclamation of heroism ever could. While the boy nurtured his courageous nature in the challenging environment of his community, another story unfolded in parallel. In the same city, a young girl led a life markedly different from that of her brave counterpart. Surrounded by comfort and the privileges of wealth, she was known throughout the neighborhood for her gentle demeanor and kind heart. Her family, well off and deeply rooted in the comforts of privilege, ensured that she was shielded from many of the hardships that afflicted others in the city. In her world, the struggles of poverty and prejudice were distant echoes, faint and barely heard. Despite the insulation provided by her upbringing, the young girl possessed an innate curiosity about the world around her. She spent her days exploring manicured gardens and vibrant parks, where the laughter of children mingled with the soft murmur of life. Her adventures were filled with moments of pure joy, yet her innocence rendered her oblivious to the dark currents that occasionally stirred in the background of urban life. In the midst of play, she remained unaware of the looming danger, a fact that would soon intertwine her fate with that of the boy. Her carefree existence belied the potential for transformation when confronted by reality. The two lives, though divergent in origin, were destined to converge as the day of reckoning approached. The boy, whose spirit had been tempered by the fires of adversity, carried within him a reservoir of strength born of hardship and kindness. His every act, whether a simple gesture or a brave intervention, served as a silent reminder of the values instilled in him by his mother. In contrast, the girl, sheltered in her cocoon of privilege, radiated an innocence that was both delicate and profound. Her world, characterized by ease and comfort, was about to be disrupted by an unforeseen calamity that would test the very fabric of her existence. These revelations of their pasts offered not only insights into their lives, but also illuminated the forces shaping their futures. The boy's journey affirmed that every hardship nurtures strength and compassion. In contrast, the girl's secure world concealed a latent capacity for change when confronted by adversity. Their distinct experiences laid a foundation for an inevitable encounter that would challenge preconceptions and ultimately reveal the authentic nature of courage. Their intertwined destinies promised a transformative future. An unexpected explosion shattered the calm afternoon as the building erupted into violent flames. Glass and debris scattered through the air, while thick plumes of smoke soared upward. Sirens wailed in the distance as frantic voices merged with the clamor of panicked cries. Within moments, the fire advanced relentlessly, consuming the structure with terrifying speed. Outside, shattered windows revealed a harrowing scene. A young girl stood trapped inside, her face etched with raw fear. Her eyes, wide with terror, scanned the room for any escape, yet every exit was blocked by searing heat and raging flames. Meanwhile, panic surged among the onlookers as they frantically dialed 911. Fear mingled with uncertainty while each person hesitated on whether to intervene. Amid the chaos, the brave boy emerged, his eyes set with determined resolve. Without a moment of hesitation, he sprinted toward the blazing building. His small frame moved with a courage that defied his tender age. Thick smoke engulfed him as he charged into the inferno, each step driven by an inner fire. Navigating through debris and collapsing walls, his heart pounded with the rhythm of survival. Inside, the air was thick and oppressive, making each breath a battle. Yet his focus remained unwavering as he heard a faint cry for help amid the roar of flames. In a moment of clarity amid chaos, he spotted the silhouette of the girl through a broken opening. Her frail figure, barely visible, beckoned him forward with a desperate plea for salvation. Reaching her side, the boy found the girl coughing violently from the suffocating smoke. Without delay, he gently scooped her into his arms, treating her with the utmost care. Their escape became a race against time as the building trembled under the fury of the flames. Every step they took was fraught with peril, yet the boy persevered with unwavering resolve. Outside, the desperate crowd watched as the pair struggled through the inferno, their hearts collectively holding hope and dread. Every footfall echoed the promise of survival amid chaos, every breath a testament to resilience. As they neared the exit, a wave of heat and smoke threatened to overcome them. Yet the boy shielded the girl with his small body. His face remained stoic as he fought against the oppressive inferno, each movement imbued with an unyielding determination. In moments such as these, true bravery is defined by action, not words. But what would you do in such a situation? Tell us where you are watching from, and if you think you would have the courage to act like this young hero. Despite the overwhelming odds, their journey toward safety continued. Every obstacle they encountered was met with a tenacity that defied the peril surrounding them. Their escape was not guaranteed, yet the boy and the girl clung to the hope of survival with every ounce of strength. As they finally reached the exit, the chaos outside welcomed them with a mix of relief and lingering uncertainty. Every step beyond that threshold was a step toward reclaiming a semblance of safety, a testament to the indomitable spirit of youth. Back outside, the remnants of the inferno served as a somber reminder of the fragile line between safety and peril. Yet, in the midst of devastation, a spark of hope endured, a hope kindled by the brave act of a young hero. Their escape, a blend of peril and valor, left the crowd in awe and forced everyone to reconsider the true nature of courage. Every moment of their struggle resonated deeply, a cinematic display of the resilience inherent in the human spirit. As the night settled, the city bore witness to an act of heroism that would echo in the hearts of its inhabitants for years to come. In the wake of disaster, the courage of one young boy stood as a beacon for all, a reminder that even in the direst circumstances, hope and bravery prevail. Every viewer is invited to reflect on the power of such actions and consider their own capacity for heroism. Now, imagine yourself in the midst of this unfolding drama, where each decision can alter the course of destiny. Recall, true bravery emerges when crisis strikes. Astonishing bravery emerged as the young hero stepped out from the burning building, carrying the trembling figure of the young girl in his arms. The inferno still roared behind him while the city's heart pounded in collective disbelief. Onlookers, once frozen in fear, parted like a living sea to reveal a clear path for this remarkable rescue. The glow of the flames illuminated his determined face, casting a heroic silhouette against the chaos of destruction. Every eye fixed upon his solitary act of valor, an event that would soon redefine the community's understanding of courage and hope. Every observer felt the weight of the moment as the boy approached the safety of the street, the rescued girl clutched tightly against his chest. The young girl, though visibly shaken and coughing from lingering smoke, radiated a fragile hope that defied the devastation surrounding her. Her eyes, wide with shock, shimmered with gratitude and lingering terror. In that silent exchange, an unspoken promise of care and protection passed between them. The boy's steady pace and unwavering focus conveyed a maturity beyond his years, transforming fear into an inspiring act of kindness. Not a single bystander dared to break the reverent silence that had enveloped the crowd. Faces reflected a tapestry of emotions, mingling awe, relief, and sorrow in a moment that seemed suspended in time. The chaos of the disaster had faded into the background, replaced by a deep, collective realization that genuine heroism often emerges unexpectedly. Observers marveled at the stark contrast between the widespread panic and the serene determination of the young rescuer. Their silent admiration spoke volumes, etching an unforgettable memory into the fabric of their souls. Swiftly, professional responders arrived at the scene, their presence underscored by urgency and purpose. Firefighters advanced with precision, their expressions a blend of concern and respect, as they prepared to combat the relentless flames. Paramedics followed closely, ready to administer aid to the rescued girl and tend to any injuries. Even amidst the orchestrated chaos of emergency operations, the boy's act of heroism shone as a beacon of hope. His fearless intervention had redirected the course of events, inspiring all who witnessed it to believe in the power of selfless courage. In the midst of the unfolding rescue, the young girl clung to the boy's hand with a desperate hope. Her body trembled from both the lingering effects of the smoke and the shock of her narrow escape. Each labored breath was a quiet testament to her survival, while her eyes conveyed a deep, unspoken gratitude. The boy, though small in stature, exuded an aura of calm determination as he navigated through the remaining hazards. His actions transcended mere instinct. They were a conscious defiance of fear and a celebration of life's fragile beauty. Gradually, the scene shifted as the rescued pair reached a designated safe zone away from the burning structure. The crowd, which had once been a tumult of chaos, now settled into a state of reflective silence. Each witness absorbed the magnitude of the day's events, their minds reeling with both shock and admiration. The transformation from panic to profound respect was palpable in every hesitant conversation and lingering glance. In that charged moment, the reality of the rescue resonated deeply, inspiring even the most timid souls to believe in the possibility of heroism. Amid the organized chaos of emergency responders, heartfelt accolades poured in for the young hero. Firefighters offered commendations and respectful nods, while paramedics expressed their sincere gratitude for the boy's timely intervention. Their professional demeanor belied the deep emotional impact of witnessing such pure, unadulterated courage. In that moment, the rescue transcended the boundaries of duty and transformed into an enduring symbol of hope. The community began to realize that even the smallest act of valor could ignite a transformative change, rekindling faith in the human spirit. The day's events became an everlasting memory. The boy's courageous act not only saved a life but redefined heroism. In the quiet aftermath, every witness felt a stirring of possibility, a call to embrace their own bravery. The rescue echoed in hushed conversations, leaving a legacy that would inspire future generations. This moment of revelation moved every heart. The story of the young boy's heroism spread rapidly. It traveled from one household to another, echoing through the community like a whispered legend. What had begun as a quiet afternoon had transformed into an unforgettable testament to courage. The people who had stood frozen in fear now spoke of the child who had defied danger without hesitation. His name became a symbol, not of recklessness, but of extraordinary bravery and selflessness. Neighbors who had once passed him by without a second glance now regarded him with admiration. Shopkeepers, street vendors, and strangers alike marveled at the boy's unshaken resolve. They recounted every moment, each detail of his actions becoming part of the growing narrative. How he had moved without fear. How he had carried the girl to safety despite the raging fire. How his presence of mind had outshone that of the adults around him. For the first time they saw him not as just another child in the neighborhood, but as something greater, a hero in his own right. The girl's family, overwhelmed with gratitude, sought out the boy's mother. They stood before her, their voices trembling as they expressed their heartfelt thanks. The mother, a woman of quiet strength, listened with a soft, knowing smile. She had always known the heart that beat within her son. She had seen it in the small things, how he helped their elderly neighbor carry groceries, how he stood up for children who were bullied, how he never turned away from someone in need. She nodded as they spoke, not out of surprise, but out of deep, unwavering pride. With tear-filled eyes, the girl's mother knelt before the boy, placing her hands on his small shoulders. "You saved my daughter's life," she whispered. "I cannot find the words to thank you." The girl, standing beside her parents, reached for the boy's hand, just as she had in the moments after he pulled her from the burning building. She had not let go then, and she did not want to let go now. In her eyes, he was not just the boy who had saved her. He was someone she would always look up to, someone who had shown her a kind of strength she had never known existed. But despite the growing recognition, the boy remained unchanged. He did not bask in the admiration or revel in the attention. When people praised him, he only shrugged and said, "I did what needed to be done." He did not see himself as a hero. He did not believe that bravery was something extraordinary. To him, courage was not about being fearless, but about acting despite fear. It was about stepping forward when no one else would. It was about kindness, about doing what was right, simply because it was right. And he had been taught from a young age that this was how one should live. The story of his courage continued to spread beyond the neighborhood. It reached schools, where teachers shared it with their students. It reached newspapers, where headlines spoke of a boy whose heart had been stronger than the fire he had faced. It reached homes, where parents told their children about the day a young boy reminded the world that heroism knows no boundaries of age, race, or background. It was not long before reporters came, eager to capture the essence of his story. Cameras flashed, microphones were extended, and voices clamored for his thoughts. But the boy, standing in the midst of it all, merely shook his head. "I am not special," he said simply. "Anyone could have done what I did." But the world knew better. They knew that not everyone would have acted the way he had. Not everyone would have run into danger when fear held others in place. Not everyone would have risked everything for a stranger. That was what made him different. That was what made him remarkable. As the days passed, the fire's remnants were cleared away, but the memory of that day remained. The boy, however, continued his life as before. He walked the same streets, greeted the same people, and lived with the same quiet determination. He did not see himself as extraordinary, but the community did, and in the heart of the young girl who had been saved, his name was etched forever, not just as the boy who rescued her, but as the one who taught her the meaning of true bravery. The boy's act of bravery did not fade into a forgotten tale. It lingered, reshaping the way people saw not just him, but themselves. The same neighbors who had once overlooked him now paused in quiet reflection. They no longer saw him as just another child from a modest background, but as a force of nature, a reminder that true strength does not come from status or wealth, but from the courage to do what is right when it matters most. His name became more than just a name. It became a symbol of resilience, of selflessness, of an unwavering spirit that defied hesitation. As the days passed, the burned structure was reduced to ruins, but something new was built in its place, a lesson etched deep into the hearts of those who had witnessed the moment unfold. Conversations changed. People spoke of him not with fleeting admiration, but with a profound sense of gratitude. The same people who had once hesitated, frozen in fear, now wondered if they too were capable of such courage. The hesitation that had once defined them was now a burden they wished to shed. But perhaps the greatest transformation occurred in the family of the girl he had saved. Their world had been comfortable, untouched by struggle, and insulated by privilege. Before that fateful day, they had never stopped to consider the strength of those outside their familiar circle. The boy, with his simple clothes and quiet presence, had never been someone they noticed. Yet, in their moment of greatest vulnerability, it was not the wealth of their family, the power of their connections, or the status of their name that had saved their daughter. It was him, a child whom the world too often underestimated. They saw it now, how much they had misjudged others based on appearances, how deeply they had failed to recognize the humanity in those they once considered distant. The boy had taught them something no wealth could buy, no privilege could grant. He had shown them that real strength lies in the heart, that real heroism does not wear a uniform, and that kindness is the greatest force in the world. Determined to honor what he had done, they made a quiet promise to be better, to see beyond their own world, to extend kindness not because it was expected, but because it was needed. They spoke of him often, not just to their daughter, but to others, ensuring that his story was not just remembered, but shared. In their home, they no longer spoke of differences in background as barriers, but as bridges waiting to be built. The boy, however, remained the same. He walked the streets with the same quiet grace, offering a hand when needed, standing firm in the face of wrongs, never expecting recognition or reward. When people stopped him to offer praise, he only smiled politely, his gaze distant, as if he had already moved on. He had not done what he did for admiration. He had not done it for thanks. He had done it because he believed it was the only thing to do. One evening, as the sun cast golden hues across the neighborhood, the girl who had been saved walked up to him. She had rehearsed her words countless times, unsure how to truly express what he had done for her, but when she finally stood before him, all that she could do was hold out her hand. "Thank you," she said softly. He took her hand, not in a moment of celebration, but in quiet understanding. No words were needed beyond those. He simply nodded, as if to say it was never about thanks. And so, the story of the young boy who had run into the fire when others had stepped back became something more than just a moment in time. It became a lesson, a shift in perspective, a reminder to all who heard it that courage is not bound by age, race, or status. Courage has no color, no age, and no boundaries. It is simply the will to act when others hesitate.